I think we can start now, slowly. Well, good morning, good day, and good evening to all colleagues and friends across the world who are watching us right now. Welcome to this first event at the Global Public Health Week, hosted by the World Federation of Public Health Association. And this panel, which was kindly supported by Faculty of Medicine, University of Belgrade, and School of Public Health at the same university. I'm very honored to be opening this panel and to be speaking to you. I'm here with my dear colleagues and friends all across the world, and I really want to thank firstly the faculty for providing us with the resources to organize this panel, but to the colleagues as well, who you will see come from all over the world. Some just woke up very early in Brazil and in the States, and then we have Santi, who is 12 hours ahead of us. So without further ado, I want to open this panel called and titled Towards a New Generation on Infodemic Management, where we will discuss about our experiences, about the challenges, and about the opportunities. I think it's good that we focus on opportunities, on how to mainstream this important discipline called infodemiology and infodemic management, and provide some up-to-date knowledge to our students and to our colleagues. So we have different backgrounds, different experiences, and without further ado, let us begin. I'll introduce our first speaker, I mean all of the speakers. With us, Fili Kiefner, Associate Professor, School of Information Science, University of South Carolina, United States of America. Her area of expertise is both research and teaching in health informatics and health communication. Dr. Kiefner is a founding member and a current academic advisor of the Certificate of Graduate Study in Health Communication program, jointly administered by Arnold School of Public Health and the College of Information and Communications at the university. Thank you so much for being with us, Fili. Just make sure you're unmuted.
Yes. Okay, let me share my screen. So give me
before you start,
minute.
Fili, may I then, maybe it's good to introduce to the other speakers as well, and then we can start.
Okay. All right.
So we have Santi Indra Astuti from Indonesia, a lecturer at the Faculty of Communication Science, Islamic University of Bandung, Indonesia. She's a member of Mafindo, and Mafindo is a very interesting community-based organization based on fact-checking and reducing information disorder in the society. So glad to have you with us, Santi. We have Mara Rubia Andre Alves de Lima, Associate Professor, Federal University of Health Sciences of Porto Alegre in Brazil. She teaches global health and was a Fulbright visiting scholar on global health, where she mentored the students educating against COVID-19 initiative. Thank you so much for being with us, Mara. And finally, my dear colleague, Stefan Mandic-Rajcevic, teaching assistant at the School of Public Health, Faculty of Medicine, University of Belgrade, and principal coordinator at the Laboratory for Infodemiology and Infodemic Management here in Belgrade. Stefan, hi. Thank you for being with us. Okay, so let us begin with a question to you, Fili. How did you realize there is a need for infodemic management teaching? And also, I know that you prepared some slides with us, so maybe we can share those and let you begin this interesting story of mainstreaming infodemic management into higher education. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to the audience. It's a great honor to be a panelist with this group of international scholars. I completed my Infodemic manager training sponsored by the World Health Organization and the U.S. Centers for Disease and Controls at the end of 2021. So I am a certified Infodemic manager. I am also on faculty in the School of Information Science at University of South Carolina. I am an information scientist. So unlike my public health colleagues, I feel like it's such an important things for me to pay attention to infodemic management. In the past 3 years, I have been eyewitnessing my colleagues fighting against an infodemic management and pandemic fighting an pandemic and an infodemic at the same time. So I feel like it's such an important thing for me to integrate teaching of infodemic management in my courses. I would like to share my experience of how I have been integrating what I learned from training into my work. Alexander has already mentioned that I am one of the founding members of creating the University of South Carolina's Certificate of Graduate Study in Health Communication program. These programs was implemented in 2009. This program is very unique, just because it is actually created and joint administered by 3 departments. That's the university's Department of Health Communication, Promotion, and Behavior under the School of Public Health. The departments of journalism and the mass communications, and our school, that's the School Information Science, under the College of Information and Communications. I teach one of the core courses of the Certificate of Graduate Study programs in health communication. The title of this course is Health Sciences Information Resources. I have made infodemic management one of the course modules. In addition, I added some discussion related to the use of information science theories, such as information poverty, everyday life information seeking, sense-making methodology, and information motivation behavioral skills to discuss infodemiology. I had the opportunity to support the creation of master's and certificate of graduate study in information security and the cyber leadership programs in our school. Generally, I was able to select courses covering essential concepts related to infodemic management. For example, the social informatica course covers the topics of social listening and the community informatics. The leadership and ethics in information security course covers the issues involving the electronic ecosystem. So these courses all support the discussion of infodemic management. In our college, we have a master's in data and communication degree. Therefore, the concepts of social listening are covered in several courses. I have also put many different infodemic management concepts in other courses that I teach. My goal is to help future information professionals take responsibility for debunking misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. I have also started making short presentations in other programs, such as social work, nursing, education, etc. Since I am a faculty member in the graduate program, I am usually not assigned to teach undergraduate courses. Therefore, I approached my colleagues to seek opportunities to deliver special lectures in our college's undergraduate programs. I have had opportunities to work with several new initiatives with my colleagues. A new course titled Health Informatics will be created and delivered in this academic year. Infodemic management and community informatics will be covered extensively in this course. I have developed an undergraduate minor program in science and health information literacy and communications for our school's Bachelor of Science degree in information science. Infodemic management is one of the major topics in its curriculum. However, the college administration asked me to make some revisions. So I am currently revising this program. Next, I would like to talk about how I have been partnering with colleagues in other academic units at our university. I will be more active in reaching out to public health, nursing, social work, and education colleagues to let them know I am available to give special lectures on infodemic management in their classes. I now wanted to discuss the difficulties that I encountered when I proposed my ideas to my public health colleagues to create a certificate in infodemic management program. They asked me how to distinguish between health communication and infodemic management programs. These barriers have inspired me to work with my infodemic management training cohort members to define the knowledge domain of infodemic management. I believe developing the epistemology for the infodemic management discipline is essential. Efforts must be dedicated to defining the nature of infodemic management and how infodemic management knowledge can benefit learners. Scholars still debate whether to use multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, or transdisciplinary approaches to define the knowledge of infodemic management. Perhaps the audience can give me your insights. I would like to wrap up my discussion here. I am more than happy to entertain your question. If you needed to contact me, here is my email address. Thank you very much for viewing my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philly. In a few slides, you showed us such a tremendous job that you did with your colleagues at your university, and it's really an example of how all the competences of one infodemic manager can be scattered around many courses and programs related to communication, to data science, to community engagement, and so on. So this would be definitely one of the topics that we will discuss further. How can we mainstream and maybe integrate all of these disciplines into a one profile that we can train tomorrow? But thank you so much for this presentation. And then we can go on to Santi. Santi, can you hear us? Hello.
Yes, definitely clear.
I'm inspired by what Philly just said, and I wanted to ask you now also with this background of non-health sector, but you teach so many competences that are really crucial to infodemic management. What is your experience in this regard? And can you tell us a little bit more of what you do in Indonesia?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm so impressed with what Feli just shared to us, because we don't have that luxury to have such a structured and very systematic approach for building this infodemic management. Well, actually, our experience is very different. As a community-based organization consisted of volunteers from various backgrounds, our main core in Mavindo is doing debunking of misinformation. We hunting the misinformation, the rumors, capturing the disinformation or anything that falls under the ecosystem of information disorder. And of course, we try to deliver it to the public, giving early warning or trying to giving clarification. Also, we're doing campaign training and any other form of education. We were approaching infodemic management not from official structural approach. Our approach really communal, I guess that's the term that I can share. Very unstructured. Whenever people need us, we come and try to offer anything that we've had and we've could. So from one occasion to another occasion, somehow we caught up in the situation where misinformation posed a very serious threat during disaster, approaching general election, and of course, during infodemic. We don't have any curriculum of that for the first, but later on, we became more systematic in doing our job. We collect our experience, and with the help of our colleagues, also other civil society organization, which also in line with us, we learned much and doing several capacity building to help. Okay, what happened during pandemic is very interesting, because the biggest challenge that we have is that people stop listening to us. even those who already have established a close relationship with us, they don't want to listening to us. Perhaps either because they have other important matters to attend, or because we all in a very confusion situation. That is the real challenge that we have. So they didn't let us approaching them to tell about the misinformation threat, even among either because they were in despair, grief, shock. There was sudden loss of. We understand that everybody just feeling frustrated at that time. There was sudden loss of family, restriction on mobilization, school closure, not to mention the economic hardship because the breadwinner of the family cut off from their job, and also another devastating situation. They reject us, saying that they have more important matters to handle. Some of them didn't believe that COVID is there. Others tried to maintain their common sense, but the infodemic is there. The government as official sources of information also confused. The public communication didn't work at that time. The healthcare communication system also didn't work. There were conflicting rumors everywhere, all at once coming suddenly in a very tight time. So that is what had happened. This experience taught us so much that although we have knowledge, we have also tools for doing debunking. We have volunteers, and also we have a team of very smart and clever fact checkers. It didn't work when we don't have any insight about how to open up working with human. So this is where the community engagement starting to taking form, taking shape in our organization, and become important part in doing Mafindo's work, because we understand that without community engagement, the methods of community engagement, all that we do, all that our friends, the fact checkers, and you guys, the healthcare workers, your knowledge is very important, but it cannot be accessed, or it cannot be absorbed by the targeted communities. So for 2.5 years after that, we trying to do everything. We also trying to there's no shortcut to doing this, but whenever we have opportunity to engage with a community from various background, that's what we do. I
Santi,
can share yeah.
May I interrupt you for a second, because you inspired me, and maybe I will forget later to ask you. So after all this experience you've done with the community and with Mafindo, tomorrow, what would be an ideal candidate that you would wish for to join your organization? Is it somebody who is maybe highly educated and certified by some formal program, or is it somebody who is trained by you maybe and just highly motivated? Or what is like the ideal profile that you're missing right now of a person working
motivation? Yeah, motivation and passion is number one, because dealing with people, we need heart, we need patience, we need understanding. We sometimes have to listen more than to talk. So I think the most important part is motivation and passion. Of course, we are very helpful when people from academics also support us, healthcare workers, government agency, and so on. But the most important is those two things, because it is important to gain the trust from the community that we work with before we deliver anything to them.
Thank you.
So that's it.
Thank you so much. We'll continue our discussion on this, but let's give the floor to Mara. Mara, I know that you prepared some slides as well for us to give a brief overview of your experience in Brazil. So maybe let's just start with that and then continue.
Thank you very much, Alec. Let me share my screen here.
It's
There we
working.
go.
Yes, we see. Thanks.
Yes. Again, what an honor it is for me to be here today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is an honor to represent the Federal University of Health Sciences of Porto Alegre in the south of South America in Brazil, and be part of this panel to discuss the possible integration of infodemic management competencies, as Dr. Tu Kiffner just told us about, into medical curricula and into other forms of continuous medical education. It is an honor to be in this panel today. This is not a lecture. I just would like to share with you a kind of a menu of our university. Our teaching hospital, you can see in my background exactly our place in Brazil. That's us. Our teaching hospital is a 200-year-old institution, almost the same age of our city. But the medical school is 60-year-old institution, and we are a university with only 15 years of existence. But we have a lot of passion and motivation, and also our experience is growing in this area, so that we would be honored to be one of the partner universities collaborating in this process of curricularization of the infodemic management. Based in our experience in infodemic management, we have a strong potential to be a reference center in this partnership region, in this region of the Americas. Here you can see our university. Right now we have 16 undergraduate programs, and they are all on health sciences. But it includes biomedical informatics, medical physics. So it is all about health, but including several fields of knowledge. Our strategic research areas are, as you can see here, information technology in health sciences, translational research in cancer, global health, rehabilitation, and infectious diseases. And regarding our panel, the question could be, as we see from this T.S. Eliot quote, where is the wisdom we have lost in knowledge? Where is the knowledge we have lost in information? For me, this is important to show that this problem that we are facing right now actually is not a new one. So I am an optimistic person, so I think that together we will be able to deal with it. Of course, now we have a different context, but I am optimistic that together we can deal with this infodemic. And we like to say that our pillars are knowledge, including the academic knowledge, mostly because we are a university, but also paying attention to the knowledge that comes from the community, not the formal knowledge only. And also communication, which is something that we always have to learn more, and compassion, remembering that compassion could be seen as a muscle, something that we can train every day. It is not in our genes, but compassion is something to be trained. And this is a good news. Regarding knowledge, we have, of course, this commitment as a university, but we also have some resources on communication, how it is needed nowadays. Since the beginning of the 2009, UFIXPA integrates a huge network of higher education institutions in Brazil that forms the Open University of the Unified Health System. And this network was created before the pandemic, of course, to solve on a large scale the needs for continuing education of professionals working in the Brazilian Unified Health System. So this is a very good channel now for us to tackle the infodemic that we are seeing now. This UNASUS is coordinated by the Ministry of Health in Brazil in a joint action with the Secretariat of Labor Management and Health Education, and a very well recognized research institution in Brazil called Oswaldo Cruz Foundation, or Fiocruz. So we have the knowledge responsibility as a university. We have a channel of communication, and we also are very involved in outreach activities, in community engagement activities. This is just an example. This is the Rondon project. The Rondon project is a multi-ministerial action by the federal government of Brazil, coordinated by the Brazilian Ministry of Defense. Our higher education institution students do community service. It is not a research in the Amazon and other low resource settings in Brazil during their breaks, aiming to increase social inclusion and reduce regional inequities. And I am passionate about this project. I go there along with our students, and the goals of this project is to provide experiential knowledge of the Brazilian reality while developing social accountability, critical reasoning, and patriotism among our higher education institution students.
Mara,
we also aim...
Let's just take a quick pause here.
Yes.
Quick pause and continue to see what specifically in terms of infodemic management and health misinformation you've done to tackle this important subject. And we know in Brazil this was a very hot topic.
Yes.
But let's say something also for the questions, and just give the floor to Stefan to present his work at the Faculty of Medicine. And then we'll see for a quick, I see some questions also raising up. So let's see how that goes. But thank you so much for this.
Okay, thank you, Alec. Do you want to go a little bit ahead or right now?
Let's give the word to Stefan and then come back.
Oh, yes.
Maybe
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay. So I stop sharing.
Sure. Stefan, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Alexander. It is a bit humbling, I have to say, looking at what our colleagues around the world have done with infodemic management in this relatively short period that we are using so often this word, although we have the word infodemic for I think maybe almost a decade, but. What I wanted to share with you is a short overview of how we have realized that there is a need for infodemic management, and then also how we realize there is a need for teaching infodemic management at the Faculty of Medicine, University of Belgrade. Well, first, we have, as many other countries, encountered a really large amount of information mixed between correct information, misinformation, even some disinformation forwarded by various groups with interests regarding COVID-19 vaccination. But also we were aware of this problem in other areas. And from the first moment that we started using infodemic management as a term in our circles, I think both Alexander and myself, but also our colleagues from the Faculty of Medicine, University of Belgrade, and the School of Public Health were aware that this problem was not something really unique to the COVID-19 pandemic. What was unique is the combination, like a perfect storm, between having a public health emergency, having something that spreads that's a virus and spreads like viruses spread, but also similar to the information that spreads like a virus. And also it's maybe the first public health emergency of international scale that was happening in the modern age of internet, social media, etc. So this was unique, but we were aware that the problem of infodemic really encompasses many other fields of interest. I have to say that in the first months of the pandemic, our approach was like a child trying to learn how to walk. So it was a bit clumsy. It included a lot of falls, and the training that we received from the World Health Organization. I will focus only on one part of the training, that is this kind of cultural sensitivity that we got. And I saw also in Mara's, for example, slides, this big circle saying compassion. And I think we were, at least I can talk in my own name, I think we were not so aware that there is a lack of cultural sensitivity and compassion in the way that we are used to doing things. And you know, in our country, everyone is supposed to, and now I'm talking about let's call it mainstream population, you're supposed to listen to your healthcare provider's advice and do as it is indicated, and everything will be fine. But it was obvious that this is something that's not happening in the infodemic. So when first I noticed this lack of preparedness for a problem like this, and when I got the training, I could say I also noticed that there is a lack of expertise in this area, in my surrounding. This is why I pushed Alexander to do the same training, and we have also always promoted this kind of training to our colleagues. But then we understood also that we have a lot of opportunity at the Faculty of Medicine. So at the Faculty of Medicine, University of Belgrade, we teach undergraduate courses, so integrated courses of medicine for future MDs. We teach nursing students. We teach. We have a program of Master of Public Health and Master of Health Management, and then a PhD in Public Health. So there were many opportunities where infodemic management could be included in various subjects. So we already our colleagues had different topics that include, for example, challenges of public health or communication for public health, or communication with the patient, or understanding patient's needs, working in the community, etc. And they were open enough to include in many of these either courses or elective courses or modules. They were kind enough and recognized infodemic management as something that should be presented to the students, and the methods of infodemic management that not only are good for practice, but it's also, I think now from after 2 years or 2.5 years, I think they make a better healthcare profession. And understanding these different views of the populations that we serve, this makes us better health professionals. And so what we have focused with our laboratory for infodemiology and infodemic management is something that we promote in low resource environments, and that is focused on the prevention. So I think our work has been from the beginning focused on strengthening other institutions and preventing an infodemic wherever it's possible. So trying to recognize it early on and then preventing it, because we know that we don't have the resources to really fight the infodemic after it's too late. So thinking about, you know, detecting a tumor very early and doing just a simple surgery, or having really something that's discovered late and then having to go through a lot of different procedures like chemotherapy, surgery, radiotherapy, etc. We were focusing on trying to even maybe prevent the tumor from happening. What's the main challenge is actually that we have to find motivation, and we have to recognize the students, the participants, the future masters of public health who are interested in having this role, because like any other area, not everyone is really focused on having this kind of role. And we arrived to the question, so who could be the perfect candidate? And I prefer to say, someone has said before me, someone who is motivated is a perfect candidate, because I don't think there is any obstacle for a journalist to become an infodemic manager and actively take an active role in preventing an infodemic, or someone working in a community-based organization, or someone even being a community leader and being interested in how information can influence people from their community. And I will just say for one final thought, and I let Alexander maybe ask some questions, or maybe we have some questions from people watching us. I think that the reactions towards infodemic management have been really, really positive. Even now, after 2.5 years that we have been dealing with this topic, we have colleagues who approach us from other institutions, which maybe discussed this topic with us 2 years ago, saying, actually, we understand that you're onto something really important and something really good. And even I recognize, you know, Feli saying that, you know, some people were unsure how this fits in what they're already doing, or what's new, what's so innovative, etc. But really from this distance, and we were lucky to have an opportunity by our colleagues, for example, from the Institute of Public Health, to present at different conferences, or to work with the Faculty of Security Studies. And you can see that it is recognized that this is an important area, which is for us very stimulating. And this has helped us build some partnerships with different public health institutions, or, for example, Red Cross, with journalists. And I think this has increased our our preparedness for similar situations. And I stop here and I let you, Alexander, do your thing.
Thank you, Stefan, for this overview. I think you summed it up very efficiently. I wanted to ask something else, but now I've got inspired from all your speeches, so brace with me. Let's see how this comes out. I'm going to create this false dichotomy just for the purpose of our discussion, but there is something really inspiring with what Santi and Mara said about doing this field work, doing this community engagement, getting out there and being with people. And then what we saw, a very structured and a systematic way that Philly presented the courses and the programs, and Stefan also reviewed the teaching opportunities within the academia. So if we say that Infodemic Manager is a perfect mix between practice and theory in a way, how do you, I mean, what would you give the priority to? If we mainstream infodemic management into the academy, we risk that it becomes a little boring, let's face it. But then if we keep ourselves always in the field, we risk, you know, never getting certified and acknowledged between other sciences. So how to make this perfect balance? What are your thoughts? What could be our future steps? And Philly, I'll start with you. Just unmute yourself, please.
You know, one thing, and I always think, is how to advance our mainstreaming as quickly as possible. However, we also needed to put a balance in the development of these disciplines. At this point, we only have some approaches to introduce these new knowledge. However, we don't have a very close and clear discipline to represent infodemic management. To me, that's also a worry. You know, we are doing something very innovative and very innovative as quickly as we can. However, we also needed to build the foundation down. So if we have a very solid foundation for this discipline, then we will succeed. We will, and this discipline will flourish. So that's really how I feel about it. And another thing is, and I feel like even though we have already put so much efforts in, we still haven't developed this quickly enough. You know, Infodemic has advanced so quickly in these 3 years, because and just like Santi said that, and the people stop believing in our words. That's the way it is. Advanced in the distrust of science, of health, of any authoritative words. And that's the things, you know, we found out that our people worldwide have a great deficiency of critical thinking skills. And all of these will complicate our work more. So I personally, and I have more questions than I have answers. So, and that's just how I feel about this. So, and I would like to hear more insight from all of you.
Thank you, Philly. And maybe this is a perfect moment to pass a big hello and thank you to our friends at the WHO, to Tina and Tim, and also other colleagues, Elizabeth. You know, they made it happen, and they help us so much, as you said, to advance in these 3 years what others could probably do in 10, you know, to put it modestly. So a big thank you to all of them. And Santi, the same question goes to you. How to make this perfect balance between practice and theory, you know, and still get certified, but still get this field-on experience, so many, you know, sides that you have to, so many boxes that you have to check in.
Okay. Based on my perspective, this is all about building critical thinking capacity in receiving information. It could lead to anything, not just infodemic, but again, this is what we are really trying to do. So in order to make it balanced, I think we have to distribute the task. I mean, you guys, you already have that information. You have already that foundation from the scientific perception. It is very important, and it will be useless if other stakeholder doesn't agree or doesn't take it, doesn't if other feels that it's not important. So I'm just thinking that we definitely need somebody or some communities who can sell the ideas about the importance on infodemic management, because collaboration is a must, integration also is absolute. So let's divide the task. One party cannot do all of the tasks. This is just too much. So dividing it is very important. So another task, I think in this short communication, in this short conversation, I try to identify 4 tasks that we can share together. First of us, those who build the foundation, you all guys are the science. And then those who practice it in various community segments of society to understand whether it works or not. And yeah, trying to define the intervention model that can be applied, whether in this certain community or in general. And those who works on the narration to make it the science that you have can be delivered to the people in a most simplest way, customized, and yeah, can be absorbed by a lot of people. And also those who documented all the process, so we can build all the narration, all the knowledge that we have. I think those kind of test distribution is something that we can strive together. That's my perspective.
Thank you so much, Santi, for that angle. Definitely, we need to keep up working together, because a lot of people is needed to deliver this properly. But I wanted to come back to Mara. Mara, you have a great experience in integrating already this formal academic education to field work of your students. And this inspires us greatly. Maybe if you can, with or without slides, maybe if you can tell us a little bit more of how your students contribute to this issue.
Okay. I don't know if I share the rest of slides. What do you think? What about our timing?
No, it's fine with time. If you have some interesting pictures and so on, this could be nice to see.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So,
okay, let's share them then.
So let me just share them. Okay. So I agree with Philly and Santi, and I would like to add some reflections. When Alexander remembered us about WHO, something very important, I think it is leadership. So during our meeting, we had the WHO leading us to reach our goals. And perhaps during the pandemic, we were all like children learning how to walk, as Stefan said, that the leadership role became a little bit confusing for everybody. So now I think that we that to have that leadership is very important. And leadership to who? I am very enthusiastic about young people. So I think that the answer is in our undergrad students. In our institution, we went through all these topics, and our students, they were taking their health programs, but also very involved and bringing good ideas for us. Let me show you, let me share with you quickly some of the projects that we did. We have pulmonology group of interest, and they did several webinars during the pandemic under our orientation, and they also gave a symposium on respiratory emergencies, and that symposium reached more than 3,000 people, Portuguese-speaking people in Brazil, Africa, and many other continents. And that was really very important to disseminate scientific knowledge. And after that symposium, these are our students from the pulmonology interest group. We had an opportunity to present our experience in a meeting in Africa, in Angola, and after that they published the experience. We published the experience, but we gave voice to the student. So you can see that the first author is one of the students. I am the last author of this article. And after that, with the inclusion and diversity committee of our university, we wrote a book on reflections on inclusion, diversity, and accessibility in times of COVID-19. And again, our students had a chapter written by them, and they were in charge, they were the authors, always under our coordination and supervision, because we can't leave them alone, of course. And other projects that we had on medical interview and physical examination. During the COVID, I was very afraid. This is the project which was very recognized. I was afraid that during the pandemic we could need to stop our project because it was a video on, and we were only on Zoom meetings. But actually what happened is that it evolved to more community engagement. This project is the translation for several languages of our medical interview and physical examination teaching. And we started translating to the Haitian Creole. So that was the connection with a very vulnerable population of immigrants in our city, because they don't speak Portuguese. So you can imagine during the pandemic, a vulnerable group of people who can't understand us. And by the way, I think that you saw that one of our initiatives is to teach English to our students, because in Brazil, our second language is French. Nowadays, the English is much, much more important, but recently French was our second language. So also the language barrier is something that is important during this infodemic management. And finally, again, with the medical students, with undergrad students, I had the good opportunity to be a mentor of a group of students in the US who started Instagram and Facebook initiative to educate people to tackle COVID-19. And they had 70,000 followers. So I think that we have this amazing young population, these stakeholders who can take the floor. We have to be along with them, but we needed to give the floor for the use. And the initiative was presented at some global health conferences and also at the Fulbright conference. So I'm optimistic because I think that we can have this partnership with institutions, with the well-founded knowledge, academic knowledge, but we also can give more the floor to the young generation and to be more in touch with the community. And what we learned so far is that we need to strengthen resilience, solidarity, and reconciliation. More than forgiveness, reconciliation. To give a voice to young leaders who will manage Infodemic, and to build multi-generational partnerships. So here we have all this experience, and we hope that our partnership with the Faculty of Medicine of the University of Belgrade will be a very good case to report in the future.
Thank you so much, Mara. Thank you. We hope that too. I will give the word again to Stefan. Stefan, if you may, we talked a lot about students. Previous speakers spoke about their experience with teaching, but it's not just the students, isn't it? We have medical doctors also interested to learn about this through continuous medical education. You mentioned the Red Cross of Serbia approaching and so on. What do you think about these cases when established professionals approach for advice and maybe more training? Can you comment a little on this?
I will try to stay short. I want to just give one thought that came from your original question, making the false duality or confrontation between the two approaches. I'm usually for the practical approach, but for infodemic management, from my own experience, I think that it is necessary to have a background and to go through a course like we have done before we go into practice and we try to do something with the practical approach. I'm just saying, even, I'm one of those people that think that they know everything and they're the smartest in the world, etc. But without going through the course, I'm sure that I wouldn't be able to grasp even 20% of what is necessary to do for infodemic management. As for your question now, we really have noticed that in many areas of medicine, at least, which is our domain, let's say it like that, there are health professionals who are recognizing infodemic management, or not maybe infodemic management, but they're recognizing an infodemic in their field. So it can be from vascular surgery to psychiatry to any other oncology, any other field of medicine. We have noticed, and our colleagues have noticed, that there are elements of an infodemic for their patients. So I think that teaching infodemic management is something that will improve healthcare and improve the service that we provide to the populations that we serve. And this is, I think this is the future of teaching infodemic management. So not only thinking about emergencies, of course, being ready for emergencies, but I think improving how we understand the needs of our communities and the communities that we serve, I think that will at the end improve the healthcare that we provide and that our colleagues provide. This would be my, where I see us in, I don't know, 5 years. So yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you. We had actually a question at YouTube. What would be the next step, or what else could be done to increase awareness of the importance of the infodemic? And I will say our high and big thanks to head of our School of Public Health, Alexandra Jovic-Ranesh, who is also watching us right now. I will just reformulate this question in a way so that can be like a practical concluding remark from all of us. What is your next step? And for example, if you want to have this call to the future partners and colleagues who may want to reach out to you regionally or globally, etc., who would you call? Who do you see like your first priority to collaborate with, and how can they reach out to you? So maybe in like a few sentences, just say to them how they can reach out and who is your ideal partner in the next several months or let's say a year. Philly, you want to start with you?
Okay. To me, of course, and I will continue to finish what I have already had at our university. But what I hope is to work with a group of people like we just finished our World Health Organization's meeting and started to have a dialogue to create the natural of knowledge, to build the foundation of infodemiology and the infodemic management, these disciplines. To me, that's one of the most important things. And I really wanted to see there is a very clear scope of our knowledge, and also have the philosophical background of our knowledge and of infodemic management discipline. So once we have the discipline up, we will be able to mainstream into more programs. We can formally introduce this as a discipline, and then we can promote more knowledge to different other disciplines. To me, that's one of the most important things. So build a foundation, to me, is the priority. So I would like to work with, of course, some of our public health people, but colleagues, I mean. But I do hope that and last week's meeting, well, it's 2 weeks ago, our meeting can have a group of scholars continue working on these aims. That's how I wanted to see this. Thank you.
Thank you, Philly. Santi, same question goes to you.
Okay. While scientific foundation is very important, and I'm really enjoyed with conversation about it, for us, outreach is number one. We are open to collaborate with anybody internationally, globally, locally, regionally. But actually, right now, let me tell you, to engage with government for like the ministry, it is still very hard for us because we came from outside of the official of the state organization, the agency. So we're facing difficulties right now to engage with them. There are several works that we done, but it is still a partial one. I mean, it is not yet become a national program. We work on that, but our hope is that we can engage more with government, not just from a health agency, but also from others like information and communication, and also with education, because we're talking about building curriculum for critical thinking, something like that. Anyway, if you would like to reach us, feel free to contact me. And also, we have a website, mafindo.or.ig. Please feel free to contact us. We would like to collaborate and to learn from anybody. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Santi. Hearing your story, I'm sure people will reach out. This is very important work you're doing in Indonesia. Mara, same question goes for you. Who would you like to engage with, and how can they reach out to you?
Thank you, Oleg. Well, we can reach me by my email. If you would like to share my email, Oleg, please feel free. I am very optimistic because at this moment we have a very good connection with the Minister of Education, the Minister of Health, and also with the other project that I showed, the Rondon project. Today we are having a visit of the ministry. And we are right now at our university designing a program to have this solid foundation of knowledge to offer to our students. Exactly as Stefan said, we are the academic institution. We are in charge of this formal knowledge. But in parallel, I think that we also can take the opportunity of having these young students or young professionals enthusiastic to go out of the bubble of the university and to make a bridge with the community, because the communication has to go to everybody and to the community. So we will be very happy if you reach us through the email and to our also our site. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mara. I'll make sure that I share our contacts in the LinkedIn event, so maybe interested parties can reach out to us. And finally, Stefan, what are the next steps for the first global laboratory for infodemiology, infodemic management? Can you give us a taste, a trailer?
Well, I just, I was laughing because I agree 100% with all of the other speakers, but Mara just, struck a note saying we have to get out of the academic bubble. And I really believe that this is the next step. So what we are working on with our laboratory is actually networking, creating partnerships with community-based organizations, explaining a little bit what we do, and giving support in people that are really in the field every day that are interested in this approach. But also, building connections that can help us in the future. We will be developing a more structured way to teach infodemic management, hopefully using simulations that we have enjoyed so much during the WHO event in Belgrade, and then maybe adapting those simulations into something that would be done through several days or several weeks, or something that can be done in 3 hours like we have done it, but enough to give a taste and to give some basic understanding of the approach. And of course, trying to understand the needs of our other colleagues working in public health and other areas of medicine to help us set priorities for infodemic management, both in public health emergencies, but also hopefully soon out of any public health emergencies. So going back to normal times, where could our support be most useful, at least? And of course, yeah, I agree with everyone. We would really love to collaborate with anyone who is interested, and even if it is just let's say, even if it looks like there is no room for collaboration, that we are doing different things, at the end, whoever tries to serve the community from any angle, there is probably some way that we can improve each other's work. Thank you. And thank you for organizing this.
Thank you, Stefan. With these nice words, I think we can conclude our little panel today. Thank you so much, dear colleagues and friends, for joining us today. As you can see, the sun is shining strong now in Belgrade. I think this is the optimism we gave to the world, and I hope we'll meet again for some other panel. Feel free to check out all the other events at the Global Public Health Week organized by the World Federation of Public Health Association. And stay tuned for our projects and partnerships. You can reach all of us via LinkedIn or our academic emails. And I thanks once again, Mara, Santi, Fili, Stefan. This was awesome. And I hope we meet again and share our experience with the world. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone, and thank you for listening.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.